So you want to know more about Innoslate. I'll be showing you now the tool itself in its technical approach and how we develop the tool. So the first thing when you log in and sign in at cloud.innoslate.com, you will see a organization dashboard come into the sandbox demo site for the main part of that. You will not see all these listed in my project. You will see a blank screen. So you would create your own first new project by just selecting the new project button, the blue one here, and then you could start from there. However, we recommend you actually begin with the start guided tour. So all you have to do there is click and select that, and then select what type of demo you're interested in. The first one focuses on requirements. The second one is about modeling simulation. The next one is using it for software development. And the third one heavily focuses on program management and gives you a full digital engineering kind of perspective. So you can try each one of these, and just by selecting it, then hitting the next button, and selecting what parts of the demonstration do you want it to go through. What things are you interested in? So I mentioned requirements management. Maybe with that, I'm probably very interested in test management, bringing those two together. So I can do that. So then you hit create and go, and what it'll do is create a version of the tool, of that example, for you to work through, and it'll walk you through the different aspects of it. Great place to get started. Now, if you also are just wanting to start your own new project, that's easy too. You just select the new project button, give it a name, my new project, and then create and go. And from there, what we recommend before we try to do anything else, you say, well, what's the first thing I need to do? I need to build a program management plan. Okay, let me go to Documents View, select that very quickly. I could then create a document up in the top right corner here. I select from different document types. So let's do a project management plan. And my plan, select that, hit next. Select, we recommend one of these different options. NASA with guidelines is a good one. In the aerospace business particularly. CDC was there as well. So take a look at those as options. And by collecting that and selecting that, now we've created already the outline for your project management plan. And all you have to do is go in here and fill in the blanks. So getting started with the tool is extremely easy. So that's one aspect of it. So let me go back though to another project. We have the top right corner here with the little file folder, gives you quick links to your most recent projects. So they can come in many different organizations, Innoslate organizations as well. So you can quickly go back and forth between them if you need to. So this is the main project dashboard. Now this is a lot more fleshed out than you saw a second ago. That's because we've added a lot of widgets, and there's a whole variety of those that are available to you to show the information that's in the database for you. So you can take and decide what you're interested in. So in that last case, one of the first things I would do is get a document card and bring that document I was just creating and put that at the top of the dashboard so that other people can use it very quickly. But I have some examples here I can show you. Here's a countdown clock. There's comments feed. So this is showing me comments that have been made in different parts of the tool. So you can hyperlink directly to that comment and see what's going on with it. Over here on the top right, you're seeing a bar chart. That's showing me my progress, my status of my test cases, and from not run all the way to failed. So all the things in between, different states. You can scroll down, see a couple more examples. Here's a table. This is a live table. That's set up through this widget. And again, I saved it to the project so everybody can see it. And I can determine the columns I want of the table. And then this is the query for the table that I want to make sure I can track and see what I'm looking for. So this narrows down the information that I'm looking at in the particular one. You can even change the title up here to whatever you want it to be. So again, these widgets have a lot of utility to them. Here's a couple examples of document cards, both an interface control diagram and an action diagram. So again, you can see all kinds of things with this. On and on and on. Well, one of the most important forms for us is the feedback form. We really like your feedback. This is not for support help necessarily, but it is also to give us ideas of how to improve the tool. We're always looking for those. So again, one of the first things you're probably also going to do if you have information you're trying to bring into the tool, you're going to go use the import analyzer. Import analyzer has a number of different types of importing formats. The Microsoft Word format is very good. It will read a native Microsoft Word file. It does look for the heading styles to determine parent-child relationships, and we create those relationships for you automatically, which is it. So we don't load in that information flat. It keeps that hierarchical information of the document, which is very important. I can also suggest differences between a requirement, which is has shall statements and things like that, and contextual information, which is the statement. And so between these two classes of information, and I can add other keywords if I want, or subtract keywords. If they're a purist, you say it's only shalls. So again, you have to decide what you want that to do. And then it'll go through and separate out those statements from requirements for you automatically. You would upload the file, you can preview the file, and then you can determine whether you want to go ahead and accept the information. If you decide you didn't like something, you can go back and fix it before you've done any work inside the tool. Put any data inside the tool. So Excel format's another good one. Great import that you can bring different columns of information in. Even related columns can be used to put information in. Again, it also has the separation between statements and requirements if you prefer as an input for that. It gives you ability to customize as well select the file and then preview it. So very powerful capability. Since we have a round trip capability, you can export from Innoslate as a CSV file, make changes to that spreadsheet, and then bring it back in using the global IDs here. So that's the purpose of this, is when you're fetching both existing and related entities. Of course, we have a plain text importer as well. Again, here we're looking for the numbering scheme to help us understand what those parent-child relationships might be if it's hierarchical in nature. Very similar idea to the word import. XMI here is a format that's used by some other tools, mostly modeling tools. In this case, we have Magic Draw, Enterprise Architect, and Rational Software Architect as 3 different formats we can import and take that information and create objects in Innoslate. The last one on this line of imports is the RecIf. And the RecIf importer is a standard that's used with a lot of requirements tools. This may be a good way to come from Doors or JAMA or some of the other tools that you're looking for in that world. And last but not least, I skipped over was our own imports. We have our own XML, and there is an XSD for that. So if you're interested in that information, that's available as well. The .ino file is because we can not only have text, but we can bring up files, we can bring in pictures. So that information gets captured separately and put into a zip format. So we have the zip format with that information plus the XML together for it. So that's the import analyzer in a nutshell. Again, lots more information on our help center if you need that. So again, one of those quick things you're going to be doing is importing maybe a document. Maybe you brought in verification requirements. So let's go take a look at an example of some verification requirements. And then there's sidebars here. Sometimes you'll see that. If the sidebar is collapsed, you'll see that change. So here I'm seeing different requirements. These are verification requirements. They've already been analyzed quite a bit. So you can see the quality score here. And the quality score is a set of attributes that we look at. Over here, if I click on the particular object and I can select that tab, it's going to show me the quality score. This is pretty low quality score, so it's going to have lots of issues with it. So we use a natural language processing algorithms. That's a branch of artificial intelligence. And we use that to look for the quality of the requirement. Is it complete, conforming, correct, feasible, on and on. So all these things. And then when it finds problems, it makes suggestions on how to improve it. So you can determine whether you want that or not. If you say, that's good enough, you just say yes to these. And then you can select those as you go through. And you can bring the quality score all the way up to 100%. And that way you know you've analyzed everything. And that's very helpful. So some of these we tend to turn no anyway, just because we want to make sure you do analyze it. So again, these are just, by the way, this has been just updated to include the rules that INCOSE has provided, their requirements working group has provided. So we are actually tracking those explicitly and showing the rules that are being violated here. So that, again, that hopefully will help you in your requirements analysis. Another thing in there, you'll notice these T's, V's, and S's sometimes. Those are relationships that are key traceability relationships in requirements analysis. And so if I take a look at the active relationships, I'll see those here. So I'll see satisfied by is the S, and this one doesn't have one, but trace to, and then verified by. These are the verification items with it. Again, it shows up in a number of test cases. As you might imagine, checking for appropriate markings might be something you do by inspection. It's just part of your any kind of test case you're doing, just to make sure that it's been checked correctly. So another thing is, of course, we have rationale, we have labels that we use for filtering purposes, so you can do that as well. You deselect this, get the filtering. So if I want to see how many of these am I going to verify by analysis, I just select that. That's how many. That shows me the ones there are. So again, you just clear the label filter when you don't want that. By the way, this table can be adjusted in all kinds of forms using the settings here, display options. Again, here you select what columns you want to be in the table. And or you could even show it just in paper mode, which is also a very nice way of seeing other kinds of documents. In here, also, if you need to get to reports, there's a reports button. You just select it and select the type of report you want. DocX output. Now, you will get what you see is what you get. So if you have columns in that DocX output, those columns will show up in that report. Other ones are some standard tables that are created, particularly some of the traceability tables that you're maybe familiar with. And there's a RecIf output as well. So if you need to go out to RecIf, this is a way to do that. Also under the More tab, there's all kinds of things here, auto numbering, baselining. So this is how you create a baseline. If you have a template, you import the template. And then once you're happy with it in the tool, you click this template option, and it will actually create that template for this type of document throughout and be able to use as a custom template. Here's where you get access to your quality checker. If none of the items have been selected, the quality check will check the whole document. If a particular element here has been selected, then it will only check that one. We have an acronym extractor. This is a huge time saver. And of course, find and replace. So a lot of different ways to do some of the kind of fundamental things you're looking for. And of course, if you want to visualize this in other ways, that's available as well. So let's say you want to see this more like a model, and a perfectly good model for this kind of document is a tree diagram. And if we select that, you'll see it here, and then you can see the different nodes that are there. I can collapse it, or I can expand it as I need to. I can add new requirements right here. Let me just add a new requirement under that VR 1.1. That gives me VR 1.1.1. And now when I save this, VR 1.1.1 shows up there. So again, if I decide I don't want that, all I have to do is come over here, and the default's remove the document, so it doesn't delete the item. But in this case, since I just made one up, I'm going to just delete it from the database. Very nice way to do it back and forth. Now, what I didn't show you when you're in here is that in the description field, we have a number of different functions. You can undo, redo, and of course, that only is within the session that you are in. The plus sign is an insert, so you can insert hyperlinks, images, pictures, tables. Also, you can copy and paste in images and tables, by the way. Diagrams. Now, this is where you take a live diagram from the tool and you see it and want to visualize it in that field as well. Charts, same thing. Documents, links, compilation. Compilation is another type of document that we have that's special. Test suites. So this is where your test information is. If you're using DoDAF or UAF, that's available as well. And there's entity notation, table notation, all kinds of things. So other word processing features are here, standard word processing. And we do have ChatGPT available on the cloud version, and you can have that available on your version too, if you'd like. So that's actually very useful in helping you understand and create better requirements as well. So that's kind of a very quick thumbnail of this view of requirements. I've already seen a diagram, and let's go take a look at the diagrams dashboard really quickly. And so in the diagrams dashboard, you can select all kinds of diagrams. I'll just get the all here. And I can sort by different diagram types. I can create new ones here. I just select that and select the type I want. There are a lot of diagram types. Of course, we have all the SysML diagrams. So if you're trying to do SysML, not a problem. We completely support SysML. You do all the things you need to do there. Plus, you can see it in many other ways. So again, that's if you're going to start a new one or you want to create something from that. In here, we have different types. Let's go pick one of my favorites, which is the action diagram. And the action diagram here shows me my process flow. And the reason we like the action diagram so much is we have in lifecycle modeling language defines different types of actions that are decision points. So here's a loop and an or, and the third one is the sync. That's where you take two parallel activities and you synchronize them. And that may be that not all of them complete, or they both time out and you have to go on. So again, that's the purpose of the sync. Very helpful. We also have IOs, which is our parallelograms. That shows me my information flow. That has size and units to it. So again, you can also type it and put values. So you can start really tracking, particularly if you're using messaging and you're tracking the messaging, you can really understand what that is. And there's also resources. So resources can be created, they can be produced, and they can be seized. So this can represent things like memory that's seized and then let go. Very powerful capability to do modeling and simulation this way. Now, again, if you're a SysML person, not a problem. You just come over here and select the activity diagram instead and view it as an activity diagram. Again, it's the same information. We're just seeing it in a different form. Or maybe you're a classicist and you like IDEF zeros. A lot of professors still teach IDEF zeros, and actually, this is one of the most easy to understand diagram types for many users. So that's, and an even easier one is the n-square chart. So again, lots of different ways to view the information. It's all the same information. You change it one place, you're changing it everywhere, just like we showed you a minute ago with the tree diagram. Very powerful capabilities. Also built into this diagram, in the action and the activity diagram, you may have noticed there was a little button up at the top corner that said simulate. We have both discrete event and Monte Carlo simulation built in. Very, very powerful. The Monte Carlo is particularly useful because you can put any number can be associated with a distribution. And here's a common one we use, which is a triangular distribution. Because the nice part about that is it gives me two endpoints, 3 and 15 minutes in this case, with the median being 3.698 for some reason. So that was added in. So again, you can see that through it. There is decomposition as well. So again, if you want to see something decomposed, you can see how it's decomposed. And that gives you a lot more depth in the model. So given the limited time we have, let me hit the major last thing, which is the test center. So the test center is a set of test suites, and you can create a new test suite here. And a test suite is a type of artifact. And in the test suite, we have test cases. And here's a good example of one where we've shown a picture in that description field. Now, it turns out that picture happens to be a process model of this overall test case. So this was designed this way, so I can open that as a action diagram, or if I have the link to it, I can just click onto it. So again, I have both options and go back and forth with that. In a test case, we have expected result, actual result, status tracking. There's also here, if you scroll over to the right a little bit, you see the status roll up. So again, very helpful in terms of tracking what's going on. We also have setup attributes, and you add your own attributes as well using the scheme editor. So lots of things there for you. Again, on the More tab, let me select the new test cycle. So this is like baselining, except for the difference in a new test cycle is it'll take your actual results and status and zero them out. So the actual result will be gone, and in here you would have whatever that was, it'll go back to not run. So again, that's a really nice way to help you build that information, track it through different test cycles. Also, don't forget there's commenting. Everywhere you go through, you'll see a comments tab. So again, this is how you add the comments in here. And reviewers can add comments and suggest changes if you need to as well. Last but not least, let's go to database view. So database view is a way you commonly see things, and there's lots of different ways to select and filter. We have a very nice search engine for this. The tool was designed to deal with millions of objects in the database. So searching becomes a very important factor. These same searches can be used in those tables that I mentioned earlier in the dashboard, but also as you're looking for related items that can be added. Here's an example, by the way, it's already set up for a car CAD model. So let's go take a look at that and view the CAD. And what that does is show me the actual CAD file that was uploaded. And I can see the image that was created there. So you can see that's kind of cool. And I can set that image as my picture. Again, every object can have a picture associated with it. So that's how this was set. Also, by the way, there are saved queries. Once you have a query you really like, you can save it. So here's a great way to look at the verification matrix. So here's my verification requirement. And then and we saw earlier, and then it's tied those test cases we were just looking at. So very nice way to view the information, track it. The headings can be adjusted as well, by the way, so you can put different labels at the top as you need to. So OV3, so you can see here some different labeling for the OV3. You can also do roll-ups. So there's mass roll-ups, and this doesn't look like I have the mass set right here. So again, you can work with that. Risk register. So here's your risk register. And of course, we have risk matrices, risk burn down charts. So you can do all the risk analysis, cost analysis. So all the things you need to do as a systems engineer, you can do with Innoslate. We have many, many other features. We really recommend you take a look at our help center and our resources page on our website and see if you can find all the things you might be looking for. And of course, please ask for a demo and help. Support is included. And so we're always happy to be here to help you in your journey to make better model-based systems engineering.